basic idea is you turn up, become present to what you're doing, and then in the process you'll witness and you'll see that there's stuff that's not necessarily working as it could. And in principle, you don't need to work it out. You just turn up. According to Mr. Patanjali and other sources of yoga, it's just about being present. And in the presence to it, obvious solutions arise. Sounds unlikely, doesn't it? But I think it's a pretty obvious principle when you apply it to someone else. You know? If you're working with someone else, or if someone comes to you, a friend in need, in difficulty, they are in the mire of their confusion and pain and difficulty. From the outside, the solution's obvious. Leave the bastard. But from within their experience, it's really complicated. Yeah? The advantage you have over their position in relationship to their life is you have objectivity. And if you want to solve your own physical issues, there's nothing new to learn, actually. This is the big mistake. This is the big arrogance that we have as human beings. Is we think we can impose and learn new things that are better than nature. We've already done that. That's what's causing the problems. The job is to become present. Become present, and then in that presence, you recognise the imposition. You recognise the thing you've placed in yourself through some external voice, some history, something that's happened in the past that you're still reacting to or responding to, or something you've learned, something somebody's told you to do, and you've taken it on as an idea. All of this stuff. In principle, this Scaravelli-inspired approach, which I don't think is any different from, I just think it's yoga. It's just this woman seems to have tapped into something, and she certainly inspired me and many others to look at yoga from a very direct, personal, felt sense, present perspective. And in the process, things change. Lovely idea. Practice of it, much harder to actually put into practice than perhaps the idea is, because we do things, we feel difficulty, we react, we're in the loop. So my job as teacher is to give you some hints, some reminders of ways of engaging with what you are doing that might bring on the nature again. And in its arrival, you may perhaps recognise it. And in the recognition, you can go for it. Does that make any sense to anyone? Yeah. It's a totally different approach to yoga practice. Yes, there's you put your big toe there and your right nostril here. There's all that. Because you need a framework to work with it. But the point is to find simplicity, wholeness, integration, absence of conflict. That is a big one. You all know it in principle. Yeah, I see people beating themselves up when they're trying to do postures, in order to do the posture. That's not yoga. The yoga is the integration, simplicity, the wholeness, the absence of conflict. The postures are there to challenge you, I guess, to find it, not to achieve the posture. Pointless thing to do. You can do that. You do that all day, every day. You achieve being upright. You achieve carrying your shopping around. You find a way. Is it the most ergonomic, the most satisfactory, the most light way you can do it? Probably not, because you've got 10 minutes before the kids come home or whatever. Yeah? But yoga practice is an opportunity to explore how you do things with a sense of undoing all the habits, so you have to become present, you have to turn up, with a few basic, we need some sort of framework apart from the postures. Postures themselves don't do it. And I think the basic framework has got to be principle based. And this is the bottom line principle, I think, as far as I'm concerned. Number one, if you want to be as relaxed as possible, you need to be supported by your structure. It's obvious. Yeah, sure. But actually practice with that, because it means something from other than what you understand. Not because I know any better than you, it's because we have ideas that are sort of fixed mental impressions. Guarantee most of you understand structural support as what you need to do to support your structure, which is not the same as structural support. If you put a tripod on the ground, you don't see it sort of being intense around its joints to try and keep it in position. It has structural support. It's not alive, so it doesn't appreciate the fact. But you are. If you, and obviously it's more complicated than a tripod. Quite a bit more complicated. 360 bones, work it out. But if you're listening to the noise of the muscles and the tension, and should I be feeling it here? Should this muscle be tense there? Is this right? You're in the complication of a dog chasing its own tail. What you need to tune into is, am I supported by my structure? As in, can I let go? And in that release, do I stay supported in what I'm doing? The answer is no. So you change something. That's your adjustment. Okay? Structural support. Because I've been racking my brains for 22 years trying to work out what we can actually be objective about. And bones and structural support is one of them. And then the how do we feel this stuff? How do we feel, am I supposed to feel it here? That's going to confuse the hell out of you. But the thing that is useful is to also understand that on top of structural support, the other thing that this means is that when you receive the breath, when the breath comes in, there's nothing that you are doing to interfere with that from your structural support. So structural support doesn't mean you can't breathe in, nor does it mean you can't let the breath go fully. So I need to be able to breathe what I am doing. Now that doesn't mean I want to breathe in, so I inhale, and I want to breathe out, so I exhale. You haven't got a posture. What you've got is an oscillation between two states. Inhale, exhale. And actually most yoga is taught in this way. You haven't got a state where the body is supported, so you have to move between postures in order to breathe. How on earth are you going to find stillness within that? I'm not against this at all, by any means. You need to be able to go into the full expression of how the body wants to breathe. It's kind of prescribed as you must inhale up and you must exhale down. That's going to fix you into a way of being that means I breathe in and I come up and I breathe out and I have to collapse. Which is fine, it's normal, so it's life, that goes. You keep doing that and then you have a nice life, you've done some yoga and you die. It's fine. But this yoga stuff is a bit bigger than that. It's about escaping that loop. It's escaping finding a way out of that karmic wheel. You can extrapolate it as much as you like, depending on how much about yoga you've read. And this is where I think this approach to yoga is more in keeping with the original intent. The Scaravelli inspired approach says something different. It says, I relax and the breath supports me, yes, by all means, in what I'm doing. But here's the radical thing. I relax, I let go of tension into the earth, and as a natural response to that, I fly away from the ground. I get taller, thinner, stronger through a release of tension. Now that's radical. It's not how we experience things, but it is physiologically possible. And it's dependent, and I've also racked my brains on how to explain this stuff, because the Western way of understanding things is about pulleys and levers and this muscle against that muscle, tension, balance of tensions between elastic straps. And if you're thinking of the body in those terms, that's what you've got. You've got I inhale up, I exhale down. Come in. So someone come. Oh no, it's not for us. Okay. So in looking at how on earth can this be true, because you experience it. You go to a good. Hi there. Come in. You go to a good teacher. It doesn't have to be Scaravelli inspired. You go to any good yoga teacher that knows their onions. You come out, you feel lighter, or you get a moments within posture where, within what you're doing, where something different occurs. It might be in meditation. You suddenly become light. Yeah, front space there is enough. And this is this phenomenon of becoming lighter as you release tension, becoming taller. And the answer is, how does this work? It's the fluid body. We are working with fluid mechanics, not with pulleys and levers. If you think of a human-shaped balloon full of fluid with some bones floating around, if you take hold of it in the middle and squeeze it, what's it going to do? It's going to expand. Yeah? That action is what happens when air leaves the body. So a totally different way of looking at the body. And then all the musculature, all the pulleys and levers stuff is related to that action. So instead of it being I lift, I drop, it becomes I collect in towards my centre, I move out in all directions. Squeezing the huge starfish. Instead of reaching out there, you stay in your centre and you reach out in all directions. So you become, it's a different way of engaging. But it's not about you using one set of muscles to stretch another. And because you're working with a different physical model, if you like, your body responds differently. So you build different musculature, you build a different way of being that leads to the experience of I release tension and I grow taller and stronger. So yeah, anyway, I feel like I'm about to lose